Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to Afro Roots Tuesdays. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to have a really special night. Very excited to be able to present the artist Jeremiah Hosea tonight. Jeremiah, I have known for many years, and I was introduced to him through friends and family who told me years ago that I have to hear this remarkable, really incredible bass player uh, named Jeremiah. And at the time, he was very young, and but already getting a great reputation for himself as a great bass player. And so he has continued to really flourish in the music world, working with really top-notch artists, going on tours. He has developed his own sound, being an exceptional bassist and vocalist. And so it's a real great honor to be able to bring Jeremiah to Afro Roots Tuesdays. Um, we're going to have him here in performance and conversation because we want to hear this beautiful music that he's been working on. But we also want to hear his ideas. We also want to hear what is making him tick, what's making him do what he does. And so that's the beauty of how we do this on Zoom at Afro Roots. Afro Roots is a bi-weekly music series that is done in collaboration with God at Riverside. And we produced an event every other week, live music since and right on the beat since 2013. We started at the Yippie Cafe, and that space got bought up by developers, and we were saved by Susan Macaluso, who used to be the director of God at Riverside. And thank you, Susan Macaluso, wherever you are. She brought Afro Roots to God at Riverside, and we've been there since September of 2013, producing um, great performances every other week with artists from all over the world. And you know, New York City is an international city. So we were having artists come in from all sorts of places uh, asking to play Afro Roots because the series always had a buzz to it. Um, and now that we've had to go on Zoom, we've definitely expanded in our international scope because we've been able to connect with people anywhere because it's Zoom. We are going to go back live though, and we'll go back live probably within a few months, and we look forward to that. Um, if anybody has been to the live Afro Roots, you know that people are always dancing. So that's a very special element of Afro Roots. So you come there, you're going to dance with everybody, and you're going to meet everybody. It is a very communal, social event. Uh, so we pride ourselves on that people connect and they have a good time. We try to bring that community right here to Zoom too. So we usually will do the show in a way that we'll present the first half and then have a little break where people get to talk to the artist too. They get to ask a question. They get to go into that chat and pull out information because there'll be some important information in the chat. And feel free to be active yourself with the chat. Make comments, you know, ask questions, put them in the chat if a comment comes to mind or a question comes to mind. Feel free to put it in the chat and get the information out of that chat because there'll be a lot of information about how to find the recordings of the artist and how to hear where the artist is playing at and connect with their website and their social media handles. So, as I said, we're very excited. I always start. Excuse the clouds if you're hearing them. It is starting to thunder outside. So if you hear the thunder, that's a very special addition to the show. Um, I'm going to start always with a joyous calling of the spirit. This is Mbira call to peace. And this instrument that I'm holding up is an Mbira in the tradition of Afro Roots. So glad that we've all been able to meet again and join together in the spirit of good times, laughter, and the healing vibrations of music. Thank you so much for coming out to Afro Roots Tuesdays. Thank each and every one of you. Thank you to all the people at God at Riverside. Thank you again to Susan Macaluso. Thank you to Amanda Hopper, who you met at the beginning. Thank you to the other assistant, Nelly Gomez. Thank you, everyone at God at Riverside. And of course, we wouldn't be here without you, all of you. So please make sure that you have the email address. It'll be in the chat, kevinandbeer@hotmail.com. Send an email to make sure you're on the mailing list for Afro Roots Tuesdays, because we do something every other week. Tonight, we are doing really something very special to have the honor of bringing to you Jeremiah Hosea. So please, everyone, make sure your microphones are muted, and please, I give a warm welcome like this. Give a warm welcome to Jeremiah Hosea.
Thank you so much, Kevin Nathaniel, my brother. Such an honor to be here, part of this legendary series, and so proud of you for the activism you've been doing and the art you've made over the course of many years now. It's been an honor to collaborate with you, and it's really an honor to be here. I want to introduce John Madera, the brilliant guitar player, publisher, activist, and we want to start things off with a tune I wrote called Don't Beat Yourself Up. This is just a little instrumental number to remind everybody, don't beat yourself up. Thank you. That was called Don't Beat Yourself Up. I actually have a solo album called Ambient Bass Volume 1, and you can check that out at my website. Not to start selling and promoting myself, but that's actually where that song is available. It's the 9th song on my little 10-track ambient album. This is a song by a really cool project called Team Sleep, featuring one of my favorite artists, Chino Moreno from Deftones. So we're gonna do a Team Sleep song called Ever. Hope you enjoy it. Hold on one moment. You make that dance look so new, and I'm all on a face like you never seen. I'm yours tonight, so come on, yeah. Light up the stage so we can all take off anywhere. We'll never come back ever. You wear that cast so cool, and I'm all on a face like you never see. Barefoot, me right. So come on, yeah. Light up the stage so we can all take off anywhere. We'll never come back. Light up the stage, your picture all of us anywhere. We'll never come back ever. It's a short one. That's called Ever. We're gonna do a song now that I co-wrote with one of the original members of Earth Driver, Bemshi, one of my heroes and mentors. And we wrote this song together called Hourglass. So Hope you enjoy this. This is available. Also, we produced a nice version of this, the narco bourgeois version of Hourglass. So check it out. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I've no control over what so many people think. It feels like my love is flowing in a barren land in the wasteland. Cause love's in an hourglass, running out, running out, running out of time. Yeah, yeah. It's not the clock that's ticking, it's all those balls. The lessons still unlearned, and the time keep moving on. It feels like my love is flowing in the barren land, in the wasteland, yeah. Cause love's in an hourglass, running out, running out, running out of the time, yeah, yeah. Deep, oh. Feels like love's in an hourglass. 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 Like grains of sand right through your hand. Rose petals falling down in a barren land. Like grains of sand right through your hand. Rose petals falling down in a barren land. Love's not in an hourglass, it just feels that way sometimes. That's not to be a pessimistic thing, it's just a passing moment, feeling. Nothing to overindulge in. We all have those melancholy feelings from time to time. Now we're going to flip the script and do some more instrumental stuff. We're going to do a weird little jam called the Whole Tone Jam. So check this out. That's our version of jazz. ongoing exploration of the whole tone scale. So what are we gonna do next? I'm gonna do a thing that I used to just practice singing this when I was traveling, and actually anywhere I would be. When I was walking home in Queens, I would sing this for practice. And one time I was singing this, and I realized I was in Prague. And I kind of freaked myself out because I was just singing it as a matter of habit. But I realized, wait a second, I'm in Prague, and I'm singing Prague City Lights. So I'm gonna sing this little number called Prague City Lights. It's just sort of a melodic, harmonic idea, and it's written and performed by my friend Vince, the great Vince, one of my favorite singers, and this is his version, or no, not his version, this is my version of his song, Prague City Lights. So let me plug in my microphone over here. Okay, that was Proud City Lights in vocal exploration around the ideas of things. And now we're gonna do Crying Won't Help. Actually, there's a narco bourgeois video for this song, Crying Won't Help. And it's a call to action. And we're gonna do this pseudo-acoustic style, I guess you could say. We'd love to have a kicking drummer behind us, but we're gonna do the pseudo-acoustic version. Let me switch back my microphone. I am a messenger. This is my prophecy. I'm going back. I'm going back. I'm going back to the black country. Cry won't help you no. You got to do something, yeah. Cry won't help you no. You got to do something, yeah. Cry won't help you, baby. You got to do something, yeah. You can't walk around with your nose in the air, acting like a millionaire. Now take a look at yourself, baby, and see what's going on. Cry won't help you no. You got to do something. The cry won't help you no. You got to do something. Cry won't help you, baby. You got to do something, yeah. You can't walk around with your nose in the air. You acting like a millionaire. Take a look at yourself, baby. You was going down. Cry won't help you. You got to do something, yeah. Cry won't help you, no. You got to do something, yeah. Cry won't help you, baby. You got to do something, yeah. You can't walk around with your nose in the air. Well, baby, there ain't no real hope for you. It's called Crying Won't Help. Thank you. And we are at the Bronx River Art Center, so special thanks to BRAC. Special thanks to our brother Craig Blue for being our impromptu producer, along with Kaya Rogue, brother Ezekwe. And we have one more little number for you, a positive thing, an uplifting thing, I hope you would interpret it as such. It's called Love's the Highest Truth. Love is all around and love is within. So this song is called Love's the Highest Truth. When you walk with open arms towards the sun, you feel the warmth of the breeze, and then you know you're alive and you don't have to be afraid of anything, cause you know the truth, and the truth is love, yes it is. Wasn't what they said to you, or anything that you learned from a book or from the news. It's not like that, cause it's a thing. It is something that you do, 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 do. Baby, love is true. Nothing could be higher, oh my friend. Love's good, it's true. Nothing could be deeper than love, my friend. When you stop and you take the time just to think about your life, you'll recall the ones you love and the ones who were always there for you. Better make those friends better. You better make amends. Go and tell them now, yeah. Tell them what they mean to you. Do, 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 do. Give them baby and love. Do, 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 do. I like it. Nothing could be higher than love, my friend. Love's that is true. Nothing could be deeper than love, my friend. Ooh. Love's the highest truth. We want to thank Brack. We want to thank Kevin Nathaniel Hilton. We want to thank Amanda. We want to thank Afro Roots, the series. We want to thank all the artists and all the aware people fighting the good fight every day. And please go to jeremiahhosea.com. Check out the songs over there. Please send me an email. Stay in touch. I'm looking for a manager. I'm looking for producers. I'm looking for co-writers. I'm looking for co-conspirators. So hit me up at jeremiahhosea.com, and we're going to grab some chairs and pull up a little closer so we can talk with you, Brother Kevin Nathaniel.
Great. Thank you. While he's pulling the chairs up, I want to invite everybody. Please excuse the Echoplex. We spent millions of dollars to get an Echoplex on the set tonight. So I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, we had natural reverb in effect.
You know?
Like Lee Scratch Perry.
Right.
The dub effect.
What I want to ask everybody to do, if you can hear me, go into the chat and open the chat, get that information out. Make sure you get the website. Make sure you get the address for. Let me see. Is my email address? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Make sure you get jeremiahhosea.com. Goddard.org. Community Arts. And if you have any questions, Kazembe said, hell yeah.
Hey, Kaz.
What's up, brother?
It's me.
Kazembe is the best friend you could ever have.
I hear you. Well, Kazembe's all in the chat.
Good.
Beautiful.
I see my daughter there.
Wow.
Naomi.
What's up, Naomi? I hope you're listening. Oh, yep, she's listening. She's not baking. I thought she was playing video games and had us on mute.
Wait.
Thank you,
Anybody
Kyle.
Can we see who else is on?
Thank you,
Yeah,
Irie.
who else is on?
My sweet wife, Irie, is here.
She's there?
My mom is here, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
I
My
see it.
Lena,
Hi.
my comrade,
Let's see how you doing.
who introduced me to John. I owe Lenina my collaboration with John. But yeah, brother, I'm so honored to be here. You know, I'm so proud of you for putting on this series for so many years and giving an opportunity for artists to express themselves and just continue workshopping and developing their material. And, you know, to me, that's what it's all about is, you know, art is for everyone. Like, as much as I'd like to get a commercial hit, you know, make some money, tour, you know, making money is good and success is good, but I don't really believe in like the so-called celebrity of music, to be honest with you. I think music is just for everybody. You know, it should be, hey, I sing and then let your cousin sing and let somebody else get a chance to sing, and everybody should have a chance to write and sing and perform. And, you know, that's what I love about what you're doing, because you're such a great artist in your own right, and you literally taken your time and effort to make a platform for other artists. So I admire that so much.
Well, I agree with you. You know, music belongs to the people. And you gotta always be able to give it to the people and invite the people into music. Music in its roots is the community. And when we can keep that power of the community, then we can really express the potential of music. You know, one of the issues we deal with in the present time is music being divided from the community. So we literally have people who feel that they don't have a voice in music. But music is them. They are the voice of music.
That's true.
Music is the community of humankind.
That's
We
true.
are that species that heard sound and recognize something. You know, we are that species that created this world that we live in through music. You know, in a way music created us because we heard it. And all of our language comes from all of our comes from music. All of our message comes from music. You know, music is what we are. And so I agree entirely. You know, somehow to be able to give this music back to the people, that is celebrity. You know,
I agree.
Celebrity is not being on a pedestal.
I agree.
You know, because once you're on that pedestal, you're divided from the people. And something is telling the people that they can't do this. And they can't touch you. Which is not the message of music.
Actually, you know what's funny? When you said that, you reminded me of like my favorite concert image that I ever saw, honestly. And I've seen so many concerts. I've been in some great concerts. And I don't like to pick favorites. But I have this one video of the Deftones live in Germany. And Chino Moreno, who I mentioned earlier, the lead singer of Deftones, you know, he's doing his wild performance. He's a very energetic performer. He comes bursting onto the stage. And I just noticed how he was getting closer and closer to the audience and like building up the intimacy. And then at a certain point, I see it so clearly in my mind. He's just singing and screaming his lungs out. And he's just holding someone's hand right there while he's singing. And I'm like, that is music. That is art, you know, that connection. And then what I love actually, and it's a subtle moment you might miss, is he's holding the person's hand and then he lets go to grab the microphone and then he reaches back out for the hand. That second reach is the thing that kills me, you know, that gets me so good. It's like, you know, it's communion. And, you know, and it's interesting. We have a misconception about these things in terms of language and music. And, you know, I'm a big Chomskyite. actually, my friend John here, we connect on a lot of levels, but we're both Chomskyites, and John's actually in publishing. And, Chomsky, really in his linguistic breakthrough, he really underscored that language is not imitated behavior, that it's a biological expression of who we are. It separates us from every other biological system that we know. So we have to understand we're not smart people who organize sound into language. We're not that smart. Language is part of our biological existence, as is music. So it's not something that we do externally. It's just us, like you were saying before. But to really understand that, like, not spiritually or philosophically, but really, it really is what we are as a biological system.
True.
True.
That's
That's
amazing.
amazing.
And
And
please
please
introduce
introduce
John
John
to
to
all of
all of
us
us
because
because
we have
we
been
have been
hearing
hearing
John
John
running
running
all over
all
that
over that
guitar
guitar
like
like
Yeah,
he
John is
born playing
playing
it.
it.
before John introduces himself. I got to tell you a John Madera story, right?
Okay.
I got to. Okay. So I met John through my good friend Lenina, my comrade from SLAM, Student Liberation Action Movement, and I'm so glad she introduced us. She was totally right that we totally hit it off. And he hired me for a gig that he was doing, and he said, "Hey man, how much would you charge me to pay? Would I have to pay you to do this gig?" And I gave him a nominal sum or whatever. But then the dude drops like 15 jazz tunes on my head. I'm on vacation. I'm like, is this guy some kind of nut? Like, we're gonna do this as a trio, bass, guitar, and drums, and this guy's doing all this piano hardy music and this horn heavy music. I'm like, we don't have horns, we don't have piano. What is this dude gonna do? Just take a million solos? you know? But it was funny. It's like I said, well, you agreed to do the gig. Just take it as a great experience, and that's what I did. And John forced me to do something that I've been meaning to do for a long time, which is just spend more time with jazz idiom. Because I love all styles of music, and my credentials are diverse. But jazz just still mystifies me. I don't consider myself a consummate jazz player at all. I'm just a student of jazz. And John forced me to do something that I've been planning on doing for years, which is just listening to this music and by ear learning the parts and struggling with it for hours and hours and hours. And, it was just a great experience in that sense. I got to, John basically, through hiring me for that gig, forced me to do something that I was promising myself I was going to do for years. And just like with everything else, I only operate like necessity is the mother of invention style. I plan things out, but it never really happens that way. It's only when I have a gig is okay. Now the gig is happening. Now we're going to do that song or try that idea or whatever. So I thank you, John, for dragging me into that experience. But John, he's the editor in chief of Big Other.
Publishing editor. I run a journal of innovative literature. It's called Big Other, and I publish fiction, poetry, nonfiction, reviews, and focusing on innovative writing from all over the country and world now. I'm working on 2 anthologies that I'll be publishing soon. One is a Palestinian writers anthology. So I've contacted a lot of writers, Palestinian American writers and Palestinian British writers and Palestinian writers to submit work. And the work that's coming is phenomenal. And I'm also doing a Puerto Rican writers folio. And anyone out there who's aware of the politics of both Palestine and Puerto Rico know that the parallels between those 2 nations, oppressed nations that are colonized by vicious forces. In the case of, sorry, I'm going on.
No, please.
Is that okay to say?
No,
yeah.
I encourage you to do so.
We're both.
This isn't commercial radio. Say what you got to say.
So
we don't censor you.
We're not into the censorship.
Say what you gotta say.
So in Palestine, what we have is an occupying force. It's an apartheid state, Israel, who have oppressed the people of Palestine, and the people of Palestine have been fighting valiantly for so long. And similarly, the nation of Puerto Rico. A lot of people don't even think of Puerto Rico. You know that more than 50% of people in America don't even realize that Puerto Ricans are citizens of the United States, but second-class citizens of the United States. So anyway, I'm talking a little bit too long, but I'm working on these two anthologies, and I'm seeing beautiful parallels and so on with these two things. And to talk more about Jeremiah and my relationship with him, I too am grateful for my girlfriend Lenina for introducing me to him. And again, she was right. And what's most among the things that are impressive about Jeremiah is one. The most important thing about Jeremiah that everyone should know is that he's a phenomenal father, and that's the most important thing.
That's the greatest joy for me. So that's easy.
And speaking of joy, my daughter is her middle name is Joy, and that I think that there's a connection between the two of us is being.
And then you know what's crazy? Speaking of that, I said Joy, and I didn't realize his daughter's name was Joy. You were playing the chord changes, Kevin Nathaniel. You didn't know our set, but you were playing the exact chord changes, the same notes and the same chord changes as Don't Beat Yourself Up. So you introduced our set with the same notes, the same chord, and then you ventured into something else. But you initially started with the song we were starting the set with, and we didn't tell you we were starting the set with that or anything like that. So it's just kind of a spiritual thing.
We have those occurrences all the time.
Right.
Serendipity, synchronicity. And another thing that came to mind as I was hearing the two of you talking so eloquently about music and how it's connected to life. I mean, I think of art as life. Art is life. Art is food. And I also think about art and making of music as borderless. And we're living through these. It's always been terrible times, and now it's just different kind of terrible times. And in these terrible times, you see the erecting of borders, and if you create a border, what do you need? Someone to police it. Police, right? And if you need someone to police it, then you need somebody to incarcerate, right? So there's all of these borders being put up, but music has no borders. Art has no borders. And with meeting Jeremiah, you meet somebody, and you realize, oh, wow, this person doesn't have those borders. Whether it's with thinking about music, you listen to Jeremiah's music, and it's a fusion of rock, jazz, funk, and then experimental.
It's funny. I remember a musician saying to a guy, he's like, "Oh, I remember you from the experimental scene," and the guy said, "Yeah, I remember you from the mental scene."
Heavy mental. Heavy mental. But yeah, there's no there are no borders. And with Jeremiah, what's really great about playing with Jeremiah is that we connect, yes, as fathers, as partners, as musicians, as artists, and then also politically. I'm not going to define Jeremiah. I'm not going to define myself either. But it's a signal to hear that we're both Chomskyites. So that should give you a sense.
Clue you in a little bit.
Although I have to say, every time the corporate media brings out Chomsky to talk about the lesser of two evils, a little bit of my respect for him diminishes. But beyond that,
he came back around.
He came back around, though.
I hope he came back around. Because
he's 99.
He's 99.
Give him a break. He's 99.
Is he 99?
No, he's not 90. He's up there. He's up there. He's not far from that.
Yeah. I want to say this because there's one guy who gets pushed off of media entirely. But he says some things that everyone needs to hear all the time. And I can feel faith because we're uncensored. His name is Farrakhan. And he said the other day, he said the highest.
You know what's crazy? I gotta say, I played on a Farrakhan album. My father, I was gonna say my father-in-law, my stepfather, is tuned in right now, and he pulled me in to record 16 bars of bass on a Farrakhan record. So that's among my very strange and diverse credentials of my career. I played with Farrakhan.
But he
But he
said the
said the
other
other
day,
day,
and
and
this
this
resonates.
resonates.
He
He
said,
said,
"There's
"There's
no
no
higher
higher
work
work
than
than
raising a
raising a
child.
child.
That's the
That's the
highest
highest
gig.
gig.
That's the
That's the
highest
highest
job."
job."
It's funny, and Chomsky talks about that too, how they condition you to think, oh, raising a kid, that's not a job. Being a banker, that's a real job. No,
Right.
raising children is the most important job, like you said. So
It's the
It's the
highest
highest
job.
job.
yeah, it's
The
the
highest
highest job,
office.
It's the highest
highest
office.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
look, there's my son right there. There's Marcus.
There you
Hi,
go.
Hi, Marcus.
And the
And
other
the
thing
other
I
thing I
want
want
to
to
say
say
is
is
that,
that,
John,
John,
I'm
I'm
listening
listening
to
to
you
you
play
play
guitar,
guitar,
and
and
you're
you're
running
running
around
around that guitar
like
like
you
you
were
were
born
born
with
with
it.
it.
So
So
I
I
just
just
want
want
to
to
say,
say,
what's
what's
going
going
on
on
with
with
your
your
guitar
guitar
playing?
playing?
Well,
Because
Because you are playing that guitar for real.
thank you, and I love that analogy of running, and because true running, you look at the people who can run, that's their thing. It's a kind of breathing for them, right? They explode onto the track, let's say, but what I want to say is that it did not come naturally to me. It was a struggle, and a struggle in the sense that with any art, for me, and people that know me, I say this a lot, is there are three things: practice, study, practice, and performance. And so immersing myself in the history of music and in the discipline daily, looking at theory, advanced music theory, looking at my superiors that I also think of as my family in a way, and guides like John Coltrane, McCoy Tyner, Joe Henderson, Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, I could go on and on. These are, we love these musicians, and then also the people I play with. I learn from Jeremiah. I learn from anyone I play with, and so study. See what other people are doing, and then practice, which requires time, setting aside and saying, look, no, stop. The world needs to stop. This is the most important thing to do because, like I said, art is food. It's breathing. So I have to spend time thinking about it and doing that and nurturing myself and feeding myself. So then I can, now I've studied, I've practiced, now I can go and perform and share, right? So I've done all that work to yes, grow myself, but then also share. And that's why we couldn't come and perform. Jeremiah and I couldn't perform without having spent decades, first of all, practicing, playing, performing with lots of different people, and then working on this set, right? And practicing this set, and then coming here, and we had all kinds of things that we needed to work out in terms of the sound in this space. It was boomy, and you helped us out figuring out if it was sounding good. So we had to do all this stuff, and this is hours and hours and hours of work, so that we can give a half hour of ourselves to you. But like I said, like that running around, that Jeremiah so fluidly is playing and getting those sounds, he's connecting his effects with and immediate. It seems so wow, it's like natural, but in a way, it's no. We did it.
Right.
We did it a million times
Right.
in order to get it right. Kind of, we hope.
Yeah, close enough to rock.
But thank you so much. Yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
when I get into that zone, that flow of optimal experience, I'm lost. I'm gone, and that's what I love. Like when you're with somebody else, and the two of you are gone, like you're not there anymore. The borders again. It's like that dissolving.
Yeah, it really is that kind of feeling.
And
now I want to jump
over to
you,
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, you're killing it, bro.
Thank you,
and
I'm trying my best over here.
I know something else because I'm looking in the chat. I'm seeing Louis Small in the chat. Now, Louis Small is a great musician. I've been on set with Louis Small. I know that Vito already talked about this. Parenting is the number one gig. So if Louis Small has been influencing you, and Marcia has been influencing you, then we know that you got to be killing it.
Well, I do owe my first musical credit to my mom by far. I do intend to write some memoir at some point, and my mom definitely gets the first chapter because my mom took me to Carnegie Hall when I was very young. And I did have a weird talent for listening. That was definitely my first musical talent. And I would sit there and listen to these classical concerts in silence, to the extent that I was shushing adults when they lost concentration or they try to say something. Listen. And even the maitre d's or whatever it is that help you to your seat, they were assuring other patrons. My mom always jokes that they said, "Don't worry, he's our youngest patron." Because he said, "Oh, is that little kid really going to sit here?" And they knew me at that point, and I just sat there and listened. And I didn't know I was going to play music, as a life dedication until much later. I heard the music of Jimi Hendrix when I was 15, and it just kind of just came down on me, like almost like voices in my head type of things. And you play music now. You play music, and and the rest has been history. And it's been an incredible experience. I've had a chance to tour and perform with a lot of different people on a lot of different stages, and the best is yet to come. I'd like to think we're still growing and striving and thriving, and reaching new understandings of ourselves as players, as artists, as human beings. But I do have to say, it's been a great life. It's been a great experience. Bemshi, who I mentioned earlier, who I co-wrote, Loves in an Hour. Actually, the song is called Hourglass, but the lyric goes Loves in an Hourglass. I co-wrote that song with Bemshi, and she made a great point that stuck with me so many years ago. She was like, "Look, if you're making music trying to be some, millionaire, superstar, or whatever, you might wind up pretty depressed. And things might not work out for you the way you were hoping to if you're trying to be some celebrity star, aggrandized above the people like we were talking about earlier." But she was like, if you really enjoy the music and the friends and the collaboration, there's nothing that beats it in the world.
Yeah.
The traveling, the friends, and the music itself.
Right.
So, if you're making music just for a commercial reward, you might wind up with a broken heart. You might give yourself a broken heart that way. But if you really enjoy what you're doing, there's nothing that can beat it. So to me, it's like there's no debate. Music is where it's at. And we're just trying to figure out new ways of having an opportunity to rehearse our music, to present our music with better lighting, with a better sound system. Everything that we can do to make our musical experience better for ourselves, for our audience, for the community. That's the main thing I would like to focus on, actually.
Now,
Would you say
Jimi
Jimi
Hendrix
Hendrix
is one of
is one of
your
your
greatest
greatest
influences?
influences?
Yeah, I mean, Jimi Hendrix is the reason why I played music. I mean, I don't want to say like my greatest influence. What's weird to me about all my influences is I never really sat around like shedding the music of different influences like Jimi Hendrix. I played Jimi Hendrix songs when I played his songs in certain bands that covered his songs. But really, the most inspiring people to me, they didn't inspire me to want to imitate them at all. They inspired me to want to create. So to me, one of the best things about Jimi Hendrix or best ways to describe Jimi Hendrix, I mean to say, is like my brother Olu, one of my musical mentors and influences as well, who I did my first professional gigs with. Olu made a great statement about Hendrix years ago. He said, Hendrix isn't a great guitar player, so to speak. Of course he's a great guitar player, but he's a creative force more than anything. He's one of the people say, one of the greatest guitar players of all time, one of the greatest poets of all time. That magical combination of technical musical ability, but poetry and a vision, a universality about what he was doing. That to me is how I think of Hendrix is, not as an awesome guitar player, which of course he was, a burning guitar player, but as a creative force. So yeah, I love Jimi Hendrix. And actually, interestingly, one of my heroes who you performed with us, actually, I was so honored you performed at the Winter Bash that Earth Driver hosted with Doug Wimbish some years ago. And Doug Wimbish, his hero is Jimi Hendrix too, which is funny because we're both bass players. So it's like we both saw Jimi Hendrix and then go grab an electric bass. But yeah, in that respect, Jimi is a huge influence on me. But more than the licks, the expansiveness of the vision, the poetry.
Yeah. I think a
A
great
great
majority of
majority
the
of the
musicians
musicians
out
out
there
there
got
got
something from
something from
Memphis.
Memphis.
Even ones who didn't realize it, you know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean everything. As Jeremiah was saying, he was a consummate artist, and so whether it's his ability to not only the technical ability of playing the guitar, which was enormous, and I have to say I learned the first three albums note for note, so I used to know all of them. So unlike Jeremiah, I actually did. But there are many ways of approaching and seeing, getting something from or receiving, and then you lose. Some people never lose that. Like they're just the purpose of that kind of imitation is not to be a mimic. It's to be in that consciousness, and there are different ways to get to being that consciousness. But that consummate artistry, and again, so here he is. It's not only playing the ability, he also had a way of performing which was unique to him, that was phenomenal, but also drawing on the vast reservoir of African American performance. So he's, all the so-called tricks he learned as a sideman working with Ike and Tina Turner and Isley Brothers and Little Richard. And so he, learned all of those things, being able to play behind his back and play with his mouth and do the splits and everything. So there was that, which a lot of people think, oh, that's decoration, but no, it was so fluid and so a part of it. That the word force is that, right? And then also the dress, like he was a fashion icon. I mean, he and created. And then you look at all the people he influenced. I mean, you can see directly Prince, who's another creative force. There would be no Prince.
Actually, I'm glad you said it, because what I want to do, if anybody out there is connected with fashion, we really want to introduce Narco Bourgeois as a fashion line. As funny as that sounds, like we'll just do the gigs, and if we could sell like this really cool clothes while we're working on our music, that's kind of like the vision or the concept of the new project, Narco Bourgeois.
On
On
that
that
note,
note,
can you
can
tell
you
us
tell
what
us what
narco
narco
bourgeois
bourgeois
is?
is?
Because some of us are coming in new.
Yeah, people are confused. Well, of course, I'm the co-founder, the de facto leader of Earth Driver, and we would feature different singers, different poets on every song. We change the genre, change the lead singer, and then at a certain point, I became a singer. I started singing and just wanting to express myself in that manner. And then eventually I started doing some of my own gigs, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm like doing my own set now. Like I'm doing a Jeremiah Hosea set. And then I was listening to WBAI radio, and it was the comedian, what's his name? Murdoch. Mike Murdoch, Matt Murdoch. I'll look up his name. He had a show called Occupational Hazards that came out during Occupy Wall Street, and somebody, I think he mentioned, oh yeah, somehow he said they were talking about the narco bourgeois, I guess, which is like a political layer of our political system somehow. And I was like, and they said that would be a cool band name, and I just said, now it is a band name. And I told him, I got to meet him when he was doing this comedy set. I said, yeah, I took your name that you said on WBAI radio, and we're recording stuff now. Narco Bourgeois is actually a thing. So he was excited about that. And it's, the concept is, it's not a band in the sense of it's just a group of 4 or 5 players or whatever, but it's a little community of top level players, you might say. So we have John Madera, who's obviously a phenomenal guitar player, who's down with Narco Bourgeois, but then we also have Vernon Reed, from Living Color. We have Ryan Waters, my brother, my friend, co-founder of Earth Driver, who did the last 2 world tours, and Sade. We got Jerome Jordan, another total legend of the New York scene. So there's like 4 incredible guitar players that are involved with Narco Bourgeois. We have Alex Alexander on drums, Camille Gaynor-Jones on drums, Swiss Chris on drums, Ivan Katz on drums, Howard Alper on drums. So that's 5 phenomenal players on the recordings that are either done or in the works. And then we just have a nice little family of players, basically, who, and these represent real creative relationships in different settings. It's no one just for hire, so to speak, just walking in off the street. These are people that there's a vibe there, there's a history. So narco bourgeois is a production concept in that respect, but it's also a parody. Yes, the name is satirical, and it's sort of a satire about what I've witnessed my entire life in terms of what we call the music industry. That we've seen repetitively, like this stereotype of crack dealer turned platinum artist. You know, like supposedly Biggie Smalls was a crack dealer, and Jay-Z used to sell crack, and 50 Cent used to sell crack, but they got successful in rap. So it's like, that's my thing is, oh yeah, we're that. Come on, give us the money we need. Okay, yeah, we're narcotics, bourgeois. We're doing that. Come on, give us the money so we can make some more music. So it's just kind of a parody on this whole, just, the pimp parade that has been portrayed before me for my entire life.
That's a good band name. The Pimp Parade.
That's our album. That's an album name.
I'll say that for your generation, that is an issue because I grew up in an early generation and there was no pimp parade in that generation I grew up in. I was growing up in the heart of Motown. And we didn't see the concept of a pimp. We didn't see the concept of a street person that did well for themselves and suddenly had hit records. That was not what we grew up with. We grew up with people who obviously came out the black church. And as I said to you, were killing it. And they were very musically strong people coming out of a musical strong community and a very ethical community. A community in which families were together. A community that took care of each other. And a community that tried to speak a positive message, the positive word, because it came out of the black church. That's what I grew up in. So to see that get twisted around by music producers was a really difficult thing to see. And I think for everybody in the generation, because we saw it. We saw music producers. We saw Stevie Wonder's music get downplayed, get buried by the record industry. We saw Michael Jackson's music get downplayed, get buried by the music industry. We saw these things while they upplayed some really cheap people who weren't playing good music and were just talking through the music. We saw that.
Right.
So this is what my generation saw. And so I totally understand when you say that's what you saw growing up.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, it's like I live in Harlem now, and a lot of this stuff, without criticizing any particular artist or trying to moralize, I mean, a lot of this stuff is just not functional in the community. A lot of the sentiments, a lot of the negative imagery, negative comments, there's no place for that in our community. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, originally when it was like battle rap, it was like, okay, that's a clever metaphor. But then it just spilled way past metaphor, and it was just people claiming that they were these like obnoxious individuals who could just be derogatory in every thought and every statement and everything that they do, and then be celebrated at the same time. And it doesn't really work out like that for most of our young people, as you know. When you emulate these models, it's like, yeah, there's not everybody turns out to be Jay-Z, a billionaire and a co-owner of the Nets or whatever. Like most people wind up going to jail or caught up in the street life or whatever, any number of negative outcomes that we could think of. So a lot of this stuff, it's like, aside from any deep morality, it just doesn't work for us. It's not going to work for our community. And it's also kind of, it's funny. It's like people need to understand being nice is really cool. Like at a certain point, being nice was corny, but no, you're wrong. You're corny. Being nice is cool. Just enjoy yourself. Say hello to people. Like that's one thing that's crazy in Harlem is like, there's so many things that I really don't appreciate, honestly, in terms of raising two young kids. And there's a lot of just a lot of behavior in the hood that I don't particularly appreciate, particularly as a father. And then at the same time, there's this special kind of love in Harlem, you know, where for all these other negative things, I could literally walk down the street. And this has happened to me where I walk down the street from Malcolm X Boulevard down one avenue to the playground. And in walking one avenue, 7 men have greeted me and congratulated me for being a father and to wish me a good day and all this kind of stuff. And we don't see that aspect. We see all the negative stereotypes. Why don't you show that stereotype of a man being greeted by other men 7 times in one block, randomly, unconnected. Just people saying, hey, how you doing, brother? Hey, you take care of that young man, you know, and any number of positive things that people might say to you randomly. So to me, that's what our community is really about. That's our real heart.
You know, that's the roots. That's what we really are. You know, when I used to go down south, you can't walk down the street without people saying hi to you across the street. Hey, how you doing over there?
Yeah, right.
When you get back? They remember me when I was here last year. You know? But that's where we come from.
Yeah.
Everything up north was always just up south. You know? So Harlem still has that. A lot of parts of New York City have that. It's beautiful to see, and this is the reality of our community. If as I say, the major industry would use our art forms instead of weaponizing our art forms to speak to that reality of who we are, then we could see a much more powerful community all over the United States, all over the world. Because if you go to some other country, Prague, you go to Prague and walk through the grocery store. What are you going to hear? You're going to hear music of the 60s and 70s. This come from the black church. That's the music you hear in Prague. Because they hear the positive word. They hear the message. And everybody needs that. Everybody needs that. It's like water for the soul. You know? That's why nobody ever bombed the United States. Because the United States was creating this kind of music. And people say, wait, we need that. All over the world. So it's what you're saying is right on point. Is that this is still in our community. This is the love. It's still there. We know our story. You know, we just need those major media forces to start telling our story. You know. So that's an important thing. You're seeing that. You're one of the younger generation who can see that.
Well, there's only one generation alive.
Right. Especially now.
Yeah. Seriously. Well, brother, we don't want to hold you up too much. And we don't want to.
Before we close off.
Yes.
We got people in the chat. Is anybody in the chat in the room that want to say something? Want to come in here and say hi? Want to come in here and ask a question? I see it. Louis Small said they know the power of music. That's why they want to twist it and distort it. Music is the universal language of the soul of humanity. Boom shakalaka. From Sly Stone himself.
Yup. Straight up.
Yes.
But brother, we got some music to make too, man. I got my files. I know you're working on some stuff.
I got my files too.
Yeah, we got to get together and put our project together.
I can't let the night go without thanking you for speaking truth throughout this whole mad world that's been introduced to us.
Yeah.
I'm thanking all the musicians out there who are speaking truth this time.
No, I gotta say, bro. I mean, look, I take your thanks, but I thank you, man. And honestly, you're a leader right now in this moment. I'm following your lead. You've been so courageous and consistent, and I really, really appreciate and respect that. And I don't know, you got to keep on doing whatever you're doing because you got a whole other thing going on, man. Not everybody is that blessed. Like I know I'm blessed but I just rub people the wrong way and whatever. You say your stuff and no one could even touch you, man. Like, I don't know what it is about you and the way you phrase things and whatever. Me, I'm nitpicking and getting all these arguments with people. People like me, people don't like me, and it's all literal. You're just beyond all of that. Everybody, if anybody says anything negative to you, it just reflects like right off of a mirror. No one could even touch you. You know, so it's like that thing that you got going on, man, you are at the forefront of a lot of the activism that's going on right now. And a lot of our folks who don't understand what's going on, we can only hope that they'll come back around and understand that some of these principles that we're talking about, it's not wacky stuff. It's basic stuff. It's basic.
It's basically, it reflects to what you just talked about. That Harlem love. That's what we're talking about. You know, we're seeing the elephant in the room, which is really taking a shit right now. And people are looking the other way. You know,
yeah, like, oh, I don't smell that. Nope.
Right.
I don't see it. I don't smell it.
Right. You know.
Who was that? Lanina and Kazembe. Who would you guys happen to remember? Who was that one professor at Hunter who was one of our professor allies, and he gave great speeches and everything at our events, and he always ended it, or I don't know if he ended it, but he always put his signature: it smells, it stinks, and it's weird. Who is that one professor? Do you guys remember that? There was, because he used that line at different events. I was like, oh, okay, that's his signature line: it smells, it stinks, and it's weird. Do you remember?
Sounds like a corpse.
You don't remember?
People brown and
Oh, your audio is all choppy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
For some reason, that's weird.
That's a beautiful woman right there.
Yeah, that's his lady.
Who's that beautiful woman? Can I get your number?
That's sexual harassment.
Me too.
Please.
No, I'm
Do you remember Kazembe? What was the name of that? He was a big fella and he had glasses. American African. I don't know what he was a professor of.
Not Kirkland.
No, definitely not Kirkland. He wasn't a philosophy professor. But I don't know. That was one of the signature lines.
Oh, you talking about like sociology?
Maybe sociology. You said, right?
Yeah. Robert. Oh God, I didn't even talk about.
Yep, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, it smells, it stinks, and it's weird. But everybody's trying to act like it doesn't stink and it doesn't smell and it's not weird. But it does, and it is.
Well, the issue is this. We're hearing two really great artists tonight. They've touched everybody's heart. They've touched everybody's soul. And we all are in ethical crisis right now. Where the major media is going to come out in a few short months and say these beautiful artists are dangerous people. They're going to say to the public that our friends, who we talk to, who we dance with, who we sing with, who we create beautiful music with, who we share the music with other people, they're going to call dangerous people. They're going to try to create a wall between us and everybody who just went for a medical intervention. They're going to create a wall between us and all of them. And there's going to be people who they put the wall, who they try to put behind the wall. So we're in an ethical crisis. And I can't sit through the night and talk to you because you've spoken on it without pointing it out. It's something for everybody to think about. to
to
not
not
be
be
in
in
between
between
on.
on.
You're
You're
either
either
going to
going to
be
be
on one
on
side
one
of the
side of the
wall
wall
or the
or the
other.
other.
And you
And
have
you
to
have to
know
know
what
what
side of the
side of the
wall
wall
you're
you're
on.
on.
You're going to
You're
have
going to
to
have to
run with
run with
that.
that.
You're going to have
You're
to
going to have to
own
own
that.
that.
And
And
it's going
it's
to
going to
have to
have
be
to be
sweet to
sweet
you.
to you.
You're going to
You're
have to
going to
love
have
it.
to love it.
And that's
And
where
that's
the
where the
love
love
is the
is the
highest
highest
truth.
truth.
Word up.
That's where
That's
it
where it
is.
is.
That's great timing, man. Great, a great resolution point there.
You
You
know?
know?
Because crying won't help you.
Yeah, right. There
We could
We
just
could
do
just
the
do the
rest
rest
of
of
the
the
interview
interview
with your
with your
lyrics.
lyrics.
you go. Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
beat yourself up.
Yeah. But yeah, brother, it's really been an honor. We got to pack up. We got to get out of the
All
brack
right.
space that they've so kindly allowed us to use.
All
But
right.
yeah, it's such an honor to be here. Can't wait to see you soon, brother. Can't wait to continue collaborating, and so proud of you for all that you've done in activism and music over these years, and for
Thank
maintaining
you.
this series for so many years. And just keep it up, brother. Can't wait to reconvene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Everybody,
much. Thank you.
make
Make
sure you get into
into
that
that
chat.
chat.
Copy
Copy
that
that
chat. If
chat.
you
If
don't
you
get
don't
it,
get it,
email me. I'll
I'll
send
send
you
you
the
the
chat.
chat.
And
And
I
I
want
want
to
to
thank
thank
everybody who
everybody who
came
came
through
through
tonight.
tonight.
I want
I
to
want to
thank
thank
mostly
mostly
Jeremiah
Jeremiah
and
and
John.
John.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
I want
I
to
want to
thank
thank
all of
all
you,
of you,
all the
all the
beautiful
beautiful
family,
family,
all the
all the
people that have
people that
come
have
through
come through
tonight.
tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to
I want
thank
to thank
Amanda
Amanda
Hopper.
Hopper.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yes.
Yes.
And
And
please
please
join us
join us
again
again
in 2
in 2
weeks.
weeks.
We're going
We're
to
going to
have
have
more
more
music
music
for
for
you,
you
live and
live and
direct.
direct.
Afro
Afro
Roots
Roots
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, guys, keep an eye out. Go right now. Go and
Buy tickets.
yeah, invite
Spread the word.
your friends, because that's the thing. John and I talk about this, and not to start another whole other conversation, but simply put, big up your friends, man. You don't need to big up people with these $1 million budgets. They already have their budget. Okay, you like Star Wars? Cool. Everybody likes Star Wars.
And
Tell somebody about an artist in your family.
Spend less time putting people down and spend more time, or all of your time, lifting others. Celebrate. Take time to celebrate, to express gratitude, to connect with people that no one else is talking about. There are many artists, many organizations, many activists, designers, architects, engineers, scientists, great family people, elders, so many people that we could be talking about, but we spend so much time mired in the muck of evil people.
Yeah,
really.
you know who Guy Debord calls them the celebrities of unintelligence.
And what it does is it ultimately not only debases us, but it dehumanizes. We dehumanize ourselves. And so making these moments of connection where we're acknowledging, look, I see you, I see what you're doing, and I need to let other people know that you're doing this beautiful thing. You're doing this cooperative working enterprise. You're building a mutual aid network. You're doing a band. You're writing poetry. You're studying to be an architect. Whatever it is, you're a child that built a beautiful sandcastle. Like, I'd rather see that. Really show me your child's sandcastle, because that's going to be life affirming. That's going to be beautiful, but not what the latest Politico did, and not what the latest corporate parasite did. So celebrate, which is what we've been doing here. We mentioned so many people, like there's this array. We didn't even come close to capturing the constellation of people who are important. Everyone from family, friends, to our influences, quote unquote, to the people we study that we've learned from, and so on. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for everybody who tuned in as well. We really appreciate you guys and your undying support and love.
Beautiful. Amanda, take it away.
All right. Glad to hear that, Fred. If anybody wants to jump in the chat, get those links. Now's your chance. All right. Here we go, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Have a lovely night.
All right,
Thank you
everyone.
guys.
Thank you.
Peace and love.
Bye. Thank you.